Now we're going to create and open our first PHP file. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up XAMPP, and let's go ahead and just start both Apache and MySQL. It's just good practice to do both of those. And this assumes that you've already installed XAMPP. If you haven't installed it yet, go back to the earlier tutorial talking about installation of XAMPP and creating a MySQL database. Then go ahead and come back. So we turned on Apache and MySQL. We're going to use Text Wrangler to create the PHP file. I mean, you could use TextEdit, anything that you're comfortable with as far as a editing software. And to start it off, we're just going to go ahead and hit File, Save As. Now, where you save this file is extremely important. You need to go into Applications, essentially where you installed your XAMPP. And go to XAMPP and go to htdocs. I've already created a folder called Web Dev Basics, so that's where we're going to keep this. We're just going to call this file webdevbasics.php. Now, it's important that you put this here. XAMPP is set up, the development environment is set up so that you have to save files in a very specific file location. Then you also have to reference them in a very specific way. And that's why we're showing you this tutorial, to help you make that process a little bit easier. So go ahead and title it whatever you want and click Save. So a PHP file opens up with less than sign, question mark, PHP. And then it's closed with a question mark and the greater than sign. And everything in between it is PHP, and the browser knows that it needs to interpret it as a PHP file. And you're going to have Apache installed on whatever server that is doing the interpretation of the file. You know, that's something that you don't necessarily are going to have to worry about. Again, that's going to be something that your developer will. So you have in here, we're just going to type in echo hello world. Again, this is the standard message that you write whenever you're working with a programming language for the first time. Echo essentially tells the interpreter to put this text onto the main page. The semicolon ends the line of code in PHP, and it's very important. If you forget the semicolon, it's a bug and it's not going to run properly. So let's go ahead and save this. Now let's open up browsers. I like Google Chrome. Now we have to type in the address. You have to type in localhost, and then localhost is essentially saying it's the same thing as the file location in XAMPP htdocs. So now you have to put in the rest of it, so /web-dev-basics, and this is case sensitive, so make sure that you're typing it correctly. And let's look to make sure what the actual file name is called, and it's called Web Dev Basics as well. So webdevbasics.php, hit enter, and when you hit enter, you see that it's executed the script and it says hello world. Now let's take this and look at it a different way. Let's say you just gone in here and said, you know what, I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to open it in a browser. Let's go into Chrome. And what you see is actually, it's opened it up and it's just put the text of the document. It hasn't read or interpreted that information because it hasn't gone through the Apache interpreter. So what you need to do is you have to make sure that you type in the local host and then the file location, including where all the folders are. And that's going to be important so that you can actually get your PHP to execute. So that's the first PHP file. And if you follow along, we're actually going to show you some of the logic, some of the operators, and some of the cool things that make a programming language a programming language.